Hi, my name is Jerome Ortega. I've been with Hard Lens Media for about 2 years now, and I'll be honest, I'm still learning a lot about politics. I have questions, and who better than my team to help me out answer them? This is Understanding Politics with Jerome Ortega. Okay, this last thing that I want to talk about is going to be a little loaded. It's also a little hypothetical. It's a lot hypothetical, and it's something that I've actually discussed with my team before because it's a conversation that I've just been having with friends. There are a lot of people that just think at this point Biden is going to get the nomination. So it's going to end up being Biden versus Trump. Here's the thing. If this really happened, if it was Biden versus Trump, and I've asked you guys this before, so you guys can just give me how, what your thoughts are on it. But if it was Biden versus Trump, is one really better than the other? It's a hard way to question that.
So that's in a sense it's the same kind of question: is Hillary worse or better than Trump? So it's I guess it's the same answer as 2016. It depends on what you value and what you look at. If the presidency is good when the president is nice and uses nice words and has decorum and says good things and isn't vulgar and doesn't hurt my ears, then Biden would be a superior president. But if you are looking at it from the point of view of who will get me into fewer wars, who will not cut taxes for the rich, who will do policy things, they're very much the same animal. So like Trump, let's go with Trump as an example. Trump's not really president in terms of power dynamics.
Sure, right.
Trump is Twitter user-in-chief. He is Fox News and News Watcher-in-chief. He is rally organizer, whatever, in chief. And he is the face of the U.S. Those are his roles. Everyone in his cabinet, who, by the way, are basically the same people or similar people to who have been in Obama's cabinet and Bush's cabinet and Clinton's cabinet, it's all the money people. It's Goldman's. It's the same people.
Right.
And they effectively run the day-to-day. And if Biden is president, I don't expect that part of it to change. Biden is in no position to actually be the president, run the presidency. So in a way, what you're really asking is who has better advisors.
Yeah.
And Trump's advisors are the swamp, and they will do the swamp. And Biden will just have different swamp people. So we saw as an example of this with Michael Bloomberg. Trump was a Democrat that became a Republican that ran for the Republican ticket. Bloomberg is a Republican who ran for the Democratic ticket. They both have binders of sexual assault allegations. They're both billionaires. They both have really, really troubled histories of bigotry and racism and misogyny and so many different. They both have records of screwing over people that are poor, but one is branded over here and one is branded over there. So here's maybe a good answer to your question. In a hypothetical world where Bloomberg stayed a Republican and in 2016 won the presidential nominee, Nancy Pelosi would be cheering the insurgent Donald Trump, the Democrat, to take out Bloomberg.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's the answer that you're looking for is it kind of doesn't matter right now because one party is a wolf and the other is a wolf in sheep's clothing, or another way to look at it is one of these is the left wing of a bird and the other is a right wing of a bird. They both need each other.
My perspective looking on this is that Joe Biden early on during this election cycle, when he was running, fundamentally said that nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be the same, and he's going to put a pretty face on it. Obama and Joe Biden, under their terms as presidents and vice president, they allowed all these horrible policies to be made, which means mass deportations, the deregulation of banks and major corporations and Wall Street, And also, not to mention getting rid of things such as habeas corpus. I mean, Biden...
Bailing out the banks.
Yeah, bailing out the banks too. Biden is just going to keep things the same. And those things, keeping it the same, is what gave us Trump.
Right.
Let's say, okay, Trump, he is who he is, but he's put an ugly face on everything because he's such a horrible person.
Right.
But that unites people in saying, hey, this has got to stop. But if you elect somebody like Biden in, everything's nice, there's a pretty face on it, everything's back to normal, and we all can go out and have brunch again. But my concern is if Biden gets into office, it will help create a pathway for somebody else like Trump, but a much more competent version of Trump to get into office. Because the sad history of republics and democracies is that eventually they do fail, they do falter, and it gives rise to dictators and tyrants. And Trump is incompetent. He can't get things done effectively to where he can have absolute power and no responsibility. But if you elect in Biden, we leave the door open for more people to become disenfranchised. We leave more people to choose not to get involved in the electoral process. More people will realize that their vote doesn't matter. And eventually, it will lead the rise of a demagogue to come into power. Somebody like Trump, but much more competent and far more brutal. And I am concerned about a Biden presidency. So it's like, he does have dementia. Biden does have that. There's something wrong with him. Who is the last person in that room advising him? Who has the real control behind Biden?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the difference...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
No, it's definitely a scary thing.
The difference in organization structure, too, even if we talk about that, is Trump has basically made a... what is it? I forget the name of it. It's like a battle royale situation,
An apprentice kind of thing.
Yeah, an apprentice situation where everyone's fighting each other, fighting against each other, over each other, to get the final word and the final approval of Donald Trump. Whereas Biden would just be a rubber stamp to corporate interest. He would like Trump is, by his nature and how ineffective he is making a very inefficient bureaucracy far more inefficient. Biden would make it more efficient. Like, this is something that goes back to Hillary Clinton that I always had, was my thought behind her was, even if she is less bad than Trump, she's more effective than Trump, which cancels out and then some for me any possible benefit she has. Because here's the difference between them: social issues. Donald Trump wants to roll back social issues, and Democrats want to expand them. But my point has always been, and a lot of the point of Hardlands Media is, it's the economic issues that matter and that actually affect social issues far more than...
That makes sense.
It's like, what would be more helpful? What would stop more police brutality? Passing a law that says, hey, we need more body cameras. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing to do.
Sure.
But except that cops don't turn them on, the footage gets lost, and things of that nature. Or would it be better to economically fund the public defender's office so they have more than 10 minutes with every single client? And in fact, because right now 95% of cases brought up with a public defender immediately get turned into plea deals. A very small percentage go to trial, and the public defender never has the resources or the manpower to do it. So what would happen even if we take away public defenders and say every single person that, or maybe write a law that's like, the prosecution has to spend an equal amount of money or supply the defense an equal amount of money that it spends on prosecution.
Right.
That would be far more effective at curbing police abuse if every time, because we know what happens when police go into white neighborhoods that are affluent. They go, I don't want to accidentally arrest a lawyer's son or a judge's son or a politician's son or someone that has money, because then I'm going to have to go on the stand. I might get chewed out for that. So if every single person had actual legal consultation and the ability to go to trial, they would be much less likely to do things. Or if a police... as like I said before, like every time a police stops you, they have to pay you $5. If they don't find anything, like you have to be compensated for having your time wasted. That's an economic way, but that would, as a result of the pressures out put on the police, that would force them to change socially. So if you're just looking for social issues, generally speaking, you make a decent amount of money.
This is a bold statement to make about Biden and Trump. But no matter what, and the people that they surround themselves with, here's something that they will never do. They will never address student debt forgiveness. Biden and Trump will never address Medicare for all because they don't want it. Neither do their donors. They're never going to address climate change because guess what? They both take money from the fossil fuel industry. They're never going to address our crumbling infrastructure. They're always going to support the military-industrial complex. We're going to have money for endless wars. So Biden and Trump, no matter what, they support the same things. And in regards to other issues that are impacting millions and millions of Americans, they will never solve it because their donors and their owners tell them what to do because they're good puppets.
Sad.
Biden, and more so, is probably going to be the biggest puppet. At least Trump, dare I say it, is more coherent. But at the end of the day, you know where you stand with him. But with Biden, they'll put on a pretty face and make you feel good about yourself. But will it solve the social issues? Absolutely not. Will it solve the economic issues? Absolutely not. And it could leave the door open, like I said before, for somebody worse than Trump to come into office.
Yeah. No, the way I want to just tie this all up is I've heard people say this, or am I right in saying this? It's like either getting stabbed in the front or stabbed in the back.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No.
I think it's more like being stabbed in the front or stabbed in a different part of your front.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
closer than
there
that.
you
Because at
go.
least stabbed in the front, stabbed in the back is like, if anything, the Democrats will stab in the back. If we go with that
Well,
analogy.
that's where I was going with. Yeah.
Because the Democrats will pretend to be friendly with
Right.
you.
That's
where the
kinda what I
Republicans
was
are
trying to get
openly
at.
malicious. But I think at this point in time, I think that veil has come off for most people. So again, same answer.
Yeah.
It depends on who you're asking. If you're a wealthy person, if you're a very wealthy person,
This will not
both
impact
parties are wonderful. They
Sure.
will help you out. If you're a
Right.
middle class person, both parties are kind of screwing you over depending on what part of the middle class you're in. And if you're poor, both of them have been stabbing you in the front. It's forever. I don't think that there's many poor people that think, oh, the Democrats are fantastic
right.
and they've always helped me and
Yeah.
they've always been our stuff. It's really just red team, blue team.
And it doesn't solve anything because they're both part of the same thing. That's the neoliberal team.
Well said, and hopefully that's not the way that this ends up, but I guess we'll wait and see.